Speaking of tools in DAWs, like how far can you get with just like the stock plugins that come with a DAW, and when should you upgrade and actually buying plugins, whether they be Waves or IK or someone else? Like how far should you just get as far as you can go with the stock plugins, and how far is that?
It's a great question, and I think that my DAW of preference is Digital Performer because of where I'm from and what the dominance of what I do is for the most part. Over the years, I've seen a tremendous improvement because let's face it, as a competing DAW with other DAWs in the industry, you're always looking to get the leg up on the next guy. So I think that more and more, and I see that with every version released with every DAW, there are more and more plugins that are being released that are good quality plugins to use. And for example, Digital Performer would have the George Massenburg plugins, which is the Masterworks series, which is an awesome series. But much like you develop a relationship with, see, the frequency equalizer to us engineers is like the paintbrushes to the artist. Sure, there's different canvases and different quality paints, and there's even incandescent paints and invisible paint. But the bottom line is the brush is your stroke tool. And the EQ is our stroke tool. And it's the reason why I'm still using a console that I purchased back in 1987 because there's a certain relationship I've developed with the EQ that I can pull out things in my mind easily. And not to say it's the only one in the world, it's the best one in the world. It's one I've become in tune with. That every time I go to the audio engineering convention, I'm always looking, thinking, okay, now what if, a missile came from the air and blew up the console, or console was rendered useless? Where would I go next? And that's a very, very hard thing. So my suggestion would be most every plugin and every software out there gives you a trial period. My suggestion would be to utilize the trial period to really do some critical analysis. Listen to how this EQ sounds stock, then get an EQ without purchasing it, but just in trial, and listen to how the same source, because you have to compare apples to apples, how EQing the same source with that one came out.
Right, in the same settings or same EQ settings.
Correct. You can't have a different situation because then it's not fair to really do comparative analysis. But then raises the question, what am I looking for? Which is what a lot of my students would be like, well, I know how to operate this EQ, but what is it exactly I'm doing and what is it I'm looking for? And that raises a whole nother issue of analysis, critical listening, the ability to really listen to something that you like and then be able to emulate that in your head. So when you and I are sitting here and I say to you a synth pop kick of today, a synth pop kick of the 80s, a new disco kick meaning the kick drum of the drum kit of yesteryear, the overall bass texture, the overall sound texture of a song in the 80s versus today if it's dance. In your mind should pop images that you would then use your tools to emulate. If you've not developed those images, how valuable are the tools to you? You can say you've got the greatest tools and bought the biggest, most expensive pack, but if you don't know how to use them, what true value are they to you? So it's use, experience, analysis, analyzing is so critical. There's not a day that doesn't pass that I don't listen to something I did in a critical way, not to pat myself, oh, that's great, Andrew, but what would I have done different if I do this again?
Hey, if you got value from this video, feel free to drop a like. If you're looking for a proven step-by-step process for consistently producing pro quality music from home, then just grab my free rapid song finishing checklist in the description below. Also, if you're just looking for more tips and tutorials on how to produce pro level music from home, then just check out my playlist or video on the screen right now. All right, have an awesome day and keep creating.